Welcome everybody to another shocking episode of Lockdown 23 and 1. That's right, today is definitely a shocking one. We're going to be speaking about the Stefanko case. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Some of y'all might have been following it, but you know what led me down this path was the sentencing. And the judge, when she goes to sentence an individual from this case, it was very different. I said, man, I got to bring this to my viewers, but first I got to do a little research on this case, and man, was it a twist and turn. So I'm going to break down the story for y'all, then we're going to jump into the courtroom and witness one of these individuals get sentenced. Now, if you're new and this is what you're into, tap that like, subscribe, and more importantly than anything, notification bell, set it to all. And of course, check out my playlist with many more videos for y'all to start watching today. Alright, just like many other videos, I read from an article and I try to paint the picture as we go along. And you know, all you OCD individuals out there, man, I know I sit kind of to this side a bit and you want me to be centered, you know, I would too. But I got to leave a little bit of room for the images. Alright, so chill out. Can you believe that? People actually get mad at me because I don't sit centered in the video. It's hard to please everyone, you know, but we do our best over here. Anyways, before I break down the article, let me just break down all the key characters in this story. We got Chad Cobb, Ashley Biggs, and Erica Stefanko. According to trial testimony, Mr. Cobb and Biggs had a child together in July 2005. But I guess things weren't going so well because they ended up separating. So just like many relationships, what happens after that? Custody battles. And this one definitely had a lot of drama with it, I guess you could say. Many of them do, but this led to murder. Now in 2006, about a year later after having the child with Biggs, he met another girl named Erica Lyon, or now Erica Stefanko. Now after Cobb met Stefanko, they started a life and lived in Akron with their 4 children. 2 children they had together. Also, Stefanko had a child from another relationship, and of course Mr. Cobb's daughter with Biggs. I know it's getting a little, complicated here with all these relationships and stuff, but, follow me the best you can. But now that we got kind of an idea of the key individuals in this case, let's speak about the incident. Biggs was working as a Domino's pizza delivery driver for extra money for the custody battle. Her supervisor testified on the night of June 20th, 2012. Someone called in an order to 647 West Turkey Foot Lake Road. Biggs left shortly after midnight and never returned. Her supervisor called the police when Biggs failed to answer her phone. Police arrived at Turkeyfoot Lake Road around 12:45 a.m. and found blood, drag marks, taser parts, and cash. Biggs and her car were missing. Now, Biggs' fiance, someone I haven't mentioned yet, Brittany Dunson, was the first person to tell investigators about the tumultuous custody battle. And of course, many detectives, when they hear that, they say, man, well, that's probably the motive here. Now, this information led police to Cobb's grandparents' property around 4:30 a.m. where they found Stefanko and the 4 children in the car behind a barn. Police found Cobb hiding in a nearby woods covered in blood. Later that morning, a passerby noticed Biggs' car in a cornfield and called police. Biggs' body was found in the car with her arms, legs, and neck bound with industrial-sized zip ties. Can you imagine being strangled by a zip tie? There ain't no getting out of that. My condolences go out to her family. I can't even imagine someone going out like that. These people must have had a lot of hate and rage against Ms. Biggs. Cobb said he placed Biggs' body in the backseat of her car, then called Stefanko, who followed him as he drove Biggs' car to a cornfield. Cobb pleaded guilty in February 2013 to 10 charges, including aggravated murder, kidnapping, and robbery. In exchange, prosecutors dropped the death penalty. Now, Miss Erica Stefanko had 2 trials. The first one was thrown out because of some kind of loophole, but a second one took place. And all this was based upon Mr. Cobb's testimony. When he first got found guilty, he didn't break down all the details. But until a few years down the road, he finds out that Erica ends up marrying his best friend. That's when he writes a detective or someone from prison saying, you need to speak to my mom. And Cobb's mom happened to have recorded a conversation between her and Erica about the situation that she's been keeping in a vault for years. I guess waiting for the green light from her son to say, you know what? Erica turned her back on me while I'm in the penitentiary. It's time to make her pay. And that's exactly what happened. Cobb's mom got in touch with the detective, played the audio recording, and next thing you know, we got another court date for Miss Erica Stefanko. If I were to guess, she probably never would have been in this situation if she just kept writing him letters, sending him canteen, and never got up with his best friend. But Cobb, he's playing revenge all the way around, whenever he wants to play. First with his ex, Biggs, who they ended up killing, and now Erica's doing her own thing while he's in prison. He ain't got time for that. It's time for a little more revenge. Bring out the tapes, Mom. Now, not only is that audio going to be used in the courtroom to get the conviction, but also testimonies. Like from Cobb's friend, Mary Brinkman, and there ain't no picture of her except for her hands. I apologize, but she testified that Stefanko made no secret of her dislike for Biggs. Stefanko said she drove Cobb to the ambush location, and then later defecated on Biggs' grave for all the shit she put us through. Crazy, huh? Why would you even tell your best friend, anyone, about these type of things? Also, one of the children testified, saying that they overheard Erica Stefanko placing the fake pizza delivery call. And me being a judge or a part of the jury, if I heard a child say that they heard that, I'm going to believe them 100%. Game over. Even if you didn't physically kill the person, you set the whole thing up. I mean, the evidence is overwhelming, so this was kind of an open shut case. It's just a lot of key evidence didn't get revealed until later on down the road. But that's pretty much the bulk of it, and I'll leave a link pinned in the comments section so you can go into a little more detail on this story. But Biggs was killed by her ex-boyfriend Cobb, and Cobb's new wife is Erica Stefanko, who ended up leaving him when he went to prison. He didn't like it. He ended up changing his testimony around a bit, putting Miss Stefanko back on the hot seat, and the jury of 6 men and 6 women deliberated for 3 days before convicting Stefanko on Thanksgiving Eve of aggravated murder and murder. Now, let's jump into the courtroom and witness Miss Stefanko get sentenced. And keep in mind, like I said, the sentencing is a bit different. The judge plays with some heartstrings, if you were to ask me. I thought one thing and then immediately realized it wasn't that. I couldn't believe how the judge worded it. So get your button up on and your fresh pressed khakis. We got a sentencing to witness. Alright, ladies and gentlemen, go ahead and check your smoke detectors now before I press play. For those of y'all that might be new, people that get a lot of time, we call getting smoked.
Okay, we're going back on the record. State of Ohio versus Erica Stefanko. It is 2:04 p.m.
Oh man, I've been saying Stefanko. It's Stefanko. Oh, I'm never good with these English names, even though I was born in America.
And neither party has anything further to say?
Nope.
No, Judge. Thank
No,
you.
Your Honor, not on behalf of the defense.
Okay. Mrs. Stefanko, you were convicted of count 1 and count 2, which were originally count 15 and count 17, aggravated murder and murder. The state of Ohio and attorneys Laybourne, Kelly, and Kranek have agreed for a merger of those counts for the purpose of sentencing. The state is moving forward on aggravated murder. The indictment reads that you purposely and with prior calculation and design caused the death of Ashley Biggs. The law requires me to listen to the statements of counsel, listen to relevant evidence, consider the sentencing factors, the seriousness factors, and the recidivism factors before the court. The court has analyzed those seriousness factors and the recidivism factors. The sentencing court, pursuant to law in the Ohio Revised Code, shall consider all of the following that apply regarding the offender, the offense, or the victim, and any other relevant factors as indicating that the offender's conduct is more serious than conduct normally constituting the offense.
Your Honor, I hate to interrupt, but it's time for a quick little courtroom analysis. Not too much to work with in this one, but we'll start with the PS3 webcam. Complements the judge's outfit just right, with the throwback black 70s glasses, the respectful judge's gown, and of course the black rhino lining chair. Very rare. Even down to the gavel, anvil, whatever you like to call it, made from the same type of bamboo wood as her shades. Unreal. Washed up from typhoons in Hadong, a region in East China. Never seen a courtroom outline like this. Oh my lucky stars, I didn't even mention the hidden pearls of Atlantis. My God, man, I guess it really did exist. Your courtroom, ma'am, I give a top-notch 10.
Whether that was exacerbated because of the physical or mental condition of the age of the victim, whether the victim of the offense suffered serious physical, psychological, or economic harm as a result of the offense, whether the offender held a public office or position of trust in the community, whether the offender's occupation, elected office, or profession obliged the offender to prevent the offense, whether the offender's professional reputation or occupation, elected office, or profession was used to facilitate the offense.
I believe the lady with the blonde hair here is the mother of Biggs, the individual that was killed. So just a little heads up for anybody that might be wondering why the camera's looking at them.
I have to consider the offender's relationship with the victim and whether that facilitated the offense, whether the offender committed the offense for hire, whether in committing the offender was motivated by prejudice. The sentencing court shall also consider all the following that apply regarding the offender, the offense, or the victim, and any of the relevant factors as indicating that the offender's conduct is less serious than conduct normally constituting the offense. If the victim induced or facilitated the offense, whether in committing the offense, the offender acted under strong provocation, whether in committing the offense, the defendant did not cause or expect to cause physical harm to any person or property, and whether there are substantial grounds to mitigate the offender's conduct, although the grounds are not enough to constitute a defense. Could you please stand, Mrs. Stefanko?
Now look, I watch a lot of these kind of cases, and I'm here to tell you when individuals are going into the courtroom and they have absolutely no hope, they know that they're going to get life without parole or even the death penalty, they usually don't show too much emotion on their face. It's almost as though they've accepted it and they're just going through the court process, waiting to go back to their cell. Little punch drunk, I guess you could say. But the ones I've noticed that still have hope come in with a look like this. Very sad, pitiful, remorseful at times as well. And to me, what's about to happen next is going to prove that. She's looking for a certain sentence. She knows that it ain't over yet. Also, pay close attention. Like I said, the judge words the sentencing a bit differently. Messes with people's mind, if I were to guess, because it messed with mine.
Could you please stand, Mrs. Stefanko? The court is sentencing you to a term of life in prison without the possibility of parole. Please maintain your decorum or you'll be taken out of the court. Understood? Thank you. Again,
we are sentencing you to life without the possibility of parole. People start cheering. But wait, there's a catch.
Again, the court is sentencing you to a term of life in prison without the possibility of parole until after serving 30 full years of imprisonment. As part of your sentence, you must obey all laws, refrain from any offensive conduct, follow.
Wow. So she delayed the 30-year part. If you were to ask me, and I'm a judge, I'm not trying to mess with people's minds. I'm going to say life with the possibility of parole after 30 years. Not life without the possibility of parole until 30 years. Now, this is the next thing. Look at her face now after hearing life without the possibility of parole. Thinking the same thing that everyone else is. She puts her head down in defeat and has the same tunnel vision look that I said before we witnessed it. When people have no hope at all. They're just staring, dealing with it, coping with it in their own mind. But there's another turn of events. Watch how she raises her head. After hearing once she's completed 30 full years, she'll be eligible for parole. Her head lifts up and she starts shaking in acceptance, almost as though she won.
The court is sentencing you to a term of life in prison without the possibility of parole until after serving 30 full years of imprisonment. As part of your sentence, you must obey all laws, refrain from any offensive conduct, follow all the rules of the department. You are not allowed to use drugs and alcohol.
Now, there's about 10 more minutes in the video, but it's just the judge speaking about, court fees and what she's going to do when she's released from jail, if she gets released from jail after the 30 full years. But like I said, I really didn't like how she worded life without parole until she serves the 30 full years. That makes no sense. Then it ain't life without parole, is it? Complete contradictory, man. I don't know. I'm not good at English or math. My strong suit's meteorology. Cumulus nimbus stratus. Anyways, look, that's a wrap. Hopefully y'all enjoyed this story, even though it was a sad one. I felt it to be something I had to bring to y'all's attention. But it all began with that sentencing. When I seen that, I couldn't believe it, right? And it just led me down this trail. I said, man, we might as well bring the whole story y'all's way. I will have a link pinned in the comments section below for you to do a little more reading on this story if you want to dive into that. But stay tuned, I got plenty more content coming your way, y'all already know. In the meantime though, as always, y'all be easy, be safe, and stay free.